Why hello there, and welcome back to Character, the Making. In a previous video, I asked if there were any other classic World of Darkness games that you wanted to let's make us a character for, and everyone said Mage the Ascension, and in a way that suggested it might not be the funnest game to cover. But I've already done like 4 of these, so how much worse could this one be? I guess we'll find out as we let's make us a Mage the Ascension character. To make things as concise as possible, in this game you play as magic users, fighting against other magic users who also use science and technology. Which is bad. Magic is good, science and technology is bad. That's the setting, basically. So to start off, we need a character concept, and to help us out with that, it might be helpful to look at the various traditions, which are this game's clan analog. Our options being Akashic Brotherhood, Celestial Chorus, Cult of Ecstasy, Dream Speakers, Euthanatos, Hollow Ones, Order of Hermes, Sons of Ether, Verbena, and Virtual Adepts. And as with any World of Darkness games, the options of course range from a little edgy to painfully edgy. And for reasons that will soon be obvious, we're going to go with Virtual Adepts, who seek to create new realms within the spirit world of their cyber reality net. Yes, magical computer nerds who use their powers to create and explore mystical virtual reality. I figure we might as well get the most out of this game being published in 1993. And obviously, with that tradition, our character concept will be Leet Haxor. Next we need to choose an essence, which is the nature of the character's soul and their relation to magic, and let's just go with dynamic so that I don't have to get any deeper into that. Then our nature, which is the character's true nature and determines how they regain lost willpower points, and demeanor, which is just how they act, and let's go with critic and avant-garde. And finally, this character needs a name, although as a Leet Haxor, a handle would probably be more appropriate, so let's go with Necron77, because I can't help but put obscure references into these videos. And now on to step 2, attributes. We have 3 physical, 3 social, and 3 mental attributes, all of which start at 1, and we must prioritize. So let's go mental, social, and physical, getting 7, 5, and 3 dots respectively to add to them. And we'll put 3 in wits, and 2 each in intelligence and perception. Then 2 in charisma and manipulation, and 1 in appearance, and 2 in dexterity, and 1 in strength. Then on to step 3, abilities. We have 3 categories of 10 abilities each, which we also must prioritize, and let's go with knowledges, skills, and talents. Getting 13, 9, and 5 dots respectively to spend on each category. And we'll put 3 in computers and occult, 2 in investigation and science, and 1 each in culture, enigmas, and law. Then 3 in meditation and technology, 2 in firearms, so we can cast gun, and 1 in research. Then 2 in awareness and intuition, and 1 in alertness. And now on to step 5, advantages. We are going to skip spheres for right now for reasons that will be explained later, but we get 7 dots to spend on backgrounds, and let's put 3 in arcane and avatar, and 1 in influence. Which brings us to step 5, finishing touches. We start with 1 dot in arete, 5 in willpower, and get starting quintessence equal to our dots in Avatar. Then we get 15 freebie points that we can spend on various things at various costs. And let's immediately dump 8 of those into 2 more points of Arete. Which means we can now go back to the spheres, which are basically the different genres of magic. We get 1 bonus dot in correspondence from our tradition, and then 5 more dots to distribute between them, up to a maximum equal to our Arete. And that is one of, but not the only reason it was worth spending so many freebie points on. And yes, the book does specifically state that you can put off buying spheres until after spending freebie points. It is, however, less clear if that's the only time you can do this, or if that's just a thing you can always do in any World of Darkness game. Anyway, let's put 1 more dot in correspondence, then 2 in time, and 1 each in mind and prime. We could have gone as high as 3 because we have 3 dots in Arate, but I wanted that extra dot for a different reason. And we have 7 freebie points left, so let's spend 4 to max out computers, as this character is elite hacksaw and will obviously be quite skilled with computers. Then 2 more points to max out Avatar, which gives us 2 more starting quintessence and also determines how much quintessence we can spend at once and how quickly we regain it, so it is also very important. And our last point into influence, although it's probably mostly on the internet. Then we have the option to specify a specialty for any attribute or ability that is 4 or higher, and this character is done! Okay, I have to explain the magic system now, don't I? So as a game about magic users, Mage the Ascension obviously focuses a little bit on the magic. Using magic is a simple process, which if you watch these videos you will know is a thing that I like to say when it isn't. So let's just say, for example, that we have received a cryptic email and we want to use magic to find out who sent it. Step 1A is to determine what exactly we want to do. So in this case, we want to dive into cyberspace and trace the email back to its source. So step 1B, we need to determine if this is going to be static/coincidental magic or dynamic/vulgar magic. The difference being that the former disguises the magical effects as mundane ones, while the latter does not, because all of these games need to come up with some excuse for why the supernatural thing is there, but all of the banal normies can't see it, and this is how it happens here. All the match users just are really, really careful about never doing magic in front of the sleepers. So we need to determine if this effect is going to be static or dynamic, and if static, how we will disguise it. And as a virtual adept, we already have to use a computer as a focus for our magic, so disguising the action as non-magical hacking shouldn't be a problem. Which brings us to step 2, where the storyteller determines if the thing we're trying to do is possible, and if so, what levels and what spheres will be required. And let's just say this effect requires the correspondence and time spheres both at 2, which is generally the minimum number of dots you need to have in a sphere to actually do magic. So conveniently, almost as if it was just an example, the storyteller determines that we have the required spheres at the required levels and can disguise the effect as hacking. So now step 3, where the storyteller must determine the difficulty of the task, which by default is equal to the highest sphere required plus 3, so 5. We can also spend quintessence to lower the difficulty, but not by more than our ranks in Avatar. Or Prime. Both maybe? Anyway, let's spend 1 to reduce the difficulty to 4. And speaking of 4, step 4, we finally roll for the effect. For a static effect, such as the one we are doing, we can roll a number of dice up to our Arate score, which is why I put that 3rd dot in it, and probably should have put a 4th. Whereas a dynamic effect is limited to the dice equal to the highest involved sphere, and it is up to that many dice because the number of dice rolled determines how bad the outcome is on a botched roll, so you might not always want to roll the maximum number of dice. But we are going to, rolling 3 dice and getting 2 successes. So finally, step 5, the storyteller determines if the effect was successful. And according to the book, 2 successes in time allows us to see up to a decade away, and 2 successes in correspondence allows us to see a very familiar location. So if we want to go with the rules as written, the attempt is a failure, and actually impossible without 5 successes. But since blind adherence to rules as written is for, well, chumps, we're going to say that it is successful, since even though we don't know the end location, we are tracking the email backwards through cyberspace, which is a familiar location. Now, steps 6 and 7 only come into play when using vulgar magic or botching a roll, and or if the roll is opposed by another character. So that is it for the magic, and also for Mage the Ascension. It is another World of Darkness game, the same moody tone and same base rules with something built on top of it that's just a little more complicated than it really needs to be. It is a series of games that are weirdly inconsistent with how magic is handled, considering they are all based on the same core rules. Like, it's understandable that they didn't want to just copy the magic system from, I don't know, a World of Darkness mummy or something, since magic is the main focus of this game, but just like every other World of Darkness game I've looked at, it feels like they just didn't know when to stop adding things. And honestly, I just don't want to talk about World of Darkness anymore, so thank you for watching, with extra special thanks to my Fightin' Flail Snails, Samuel Gorski, and Randy Mulholland. If you'd like to be cool like them, you can check out my Patreon, where you can get early access to videos and fun stuff that I make for the Patreon. And if you don't want to do that, that's fine too. You can still hit all of the lovely buttons, the like, the subscribe, these other videos that YouTube and/or I have selected for you, which I am sure are lovely videos that you will also enjoy. And I will see you next time.